Who's got the very loud clock?
Hello there. The Hangout is now live. I'm being told on my screen. Welcome to episode 2 of ManCave.
Hello.
I'm joined with the usual suspects of Andy.
Hello.
So I'll get the camera over to him. Mike.
Hi,
And once again, I'm Liam. And I've got a button. I've got a stream running in the background there, which was very distracting. But yeah, so we're on episode 2 now. We've learned some things from the first one, definitely. And then now we're on episode 2. We've taken your feedback and we're having another go. So episode 2, guys, we made it. Wow, what a milestone that we've hit. A second live stream. We've made it. The big time is here.
This is
we
it.
can all agree that if we learned something from last time is that these definitely need to be longer.
Yeah, I think that's the general. I totally agree. The general consensus was they definitely need to be more than an hour and a half. So get ready for your 4-hour live stream live here. Thanks to
This is gonna be the big one. Yeah. Oh.
But in all seriousness, no, we will be keeping it a little bit shorter today. Getting more focus, more tight. I want to get tight. And
Like a tiger.
yeah, like a tiger. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So yeah, we're going to keep it a little bit shorter today. But first of all, I want to find out because this is also an excuse for the three of us to get together and talk shit. So what have you guys been up to then, Andy?
I've been to very well. It was an all right music festival, but very muddy, very rained, and it was a bit of a mess. I'm very tired right now.
Oh,
I know.
Who did you see at the festival?
Kaiser Chiefs. Noel Gallagher was there as well. It was over in Wales, but it was just like it was a bog. Basically.
A bog. Sounds lovely. A bog in Wales.
Nothing made up for it. I mean, it was a lovely weekend, but it was very, very tiring and very rainy.
Oh, man. Well, you're back now. So
yeah.
Back to the grind.
Liam, what have you been up to?
Me? Oh, I've mainly been trying to. I think spent my weekend trying to do Premiere Pro because I suddenly realised that just like wow. YouTube videos are well produced nowadays, so I better start getting to know what how to produce and stuff. So been doing a bit of that. What else? There was a art thing in the town where I live, and it was very good. I spent the whole day down there looking at art. Looking at all the different exhibitors of art, and my mother-in-law actually had a stall there, and it was very good. It was very nice. Her stuff was well received.
Cool.
So yeah, so it was quite pleasant. Mike,
I went to a food festival.
Food festival.
Yeah, it was so good. I went twice.
Oh, mate, you're talking.
Right, good.
So Andy went to a bog festival, and you went to a food festival.
Exactly.
Same thing.
But it was in Woking, so I don't know who had the worst deal, to be honest. North Wales versus Woking. But anyway, probably alienated half of our audience now with that comment.
We have, yeah.
Oh no,
pretty much.
Nobody's watching. Don't worry, nobody's watching. It's fine.
Oh, fuck off!
It's early days. Yeah. It's early days. No, well that sounds pretty good. Right, time to talk about some stuff.
Right.
I'll kick us off. I was very lucky. You know, I spoke about Titanfall 2 last weekend.
Yeah.
Which was fun. You know, Titanfall 2. I was like, I am very thankful for PlayStation for giving me betas. I'm a nobody. I'm not kind of like giving this stuff for YouTube to review or anything like that. I'm just a valid customer, and they seem to be giving me. You know, these betas, these betas are probably widely available. But I got on Battlefield 1.
Right.
The Battlefield 1 beta on PS4.
I'm interested in that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was interested in it as well. I thought, this could be quite interesting because I'm playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront. Now, Star Wars Battlefront is obviously a different animal. And so I thought, oh no, you know, my first person shooter skills are probably all right. So I'll give it a go. And I think I got into the game. It did lots of loading. There was I think there's a YouTuber, Stone Mountain 64, who did the tutorial for the actual game, where they kind of give you the gist of what it is. You get one, there's one, it's like a capture the flag level that you get to play. Very, very big open level. Let me just say this at the beginning. It's a very big open level. There's a couple of classes, and you all group up into teams in, you know, individual small teams, and then you have these small objectives to do in the game. All set in World War One. I believe this one is a skirmish in Turkey, or against the Turkish. It's excuse my historical ignorance about the time. I didn't really get the gist of it because I was too busy dying every 5 seconds. So I spawned straight in, and you just I just didn't. There's no cover. You are just running in open. It's a multiplayer nightmare, because you're just running in open areas and just getting picked off left, right, and center. And when I did actually see identify somebody that is not on my team, because you only get kind of like reticles at the top of it that says they're part of your team. If they're not part of your team, you don't get anything. So you don't get a red reticle, you don't get anything like that. It's just basically, oh, there's a CGI character moving in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, just go for it. Which kind of like was really weird, because I was really struggling. When I found somebody, I was like, I haven't, you know, I put about 1 or 2 bullets in it, and then that was it. I was dead. I tried all the different classes. So I tried a medic. Medic just bought it every time. You know, I tried a bit of assault and everything, and you know, there was heavy weapons, but I couldn't really get to grips with them. There was planes going over. There was tanks rumbling down. I jumped on the back of a jeep and started trying to shoot aeroplanes down. It was chaos, absolute chaos. I have no idea how people could get on with it. And it just became a sniper's dream, really, because all you found was just people, old school sniping as well. So it was just people just setting up up in the mountains and stuff, and they're just picking you off left, right, and centre.
You know what it's like to be me, Liam. Pretty much. For me, these type of games are multi-sensory nightmare. You're basically just constantly looking around and you're getting shot every single time, and it's an exercise in multiple frustrations over and over again.
I thought I was doing okay. I thought I was doing okay with multiplayers. I thought I was actually, you know, getting somewhere with the amount of hours I put into Battlefront, but I struggled because there was no third person. It was all like first person. I played a couple of hours of it, and I really did give it its due. I mean, I had crashes. I had some weird things as well, where my gun would just disappear. You know, I do realize it's a beta and they've got to work the bugs out, so you've got to be fair to the developers and stuff. But I just felt the gameplay from this just didn't flow. I just wasn't getting it. You know,
That's a shame.
I didn't feel as if I could ever get started, and you know, or any sense of achievement really. I kind of, you know, it seemed like there was this massive battle going on, and my small part in it with my little crew and everything like that was making absolutely no difference on the battlefield whatsoever. You know, for it to be a war simulation where you're supposed to feel a part of kind of like an epic battle, it didn't. It felt like I was part of a video game, because the planes flying upside down with people shooting like, you know, nothing, and people just crashing, and you know, what was it? There was a tank. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go blow up that tank. So I run up to this tank, and I've got a grenade or something like that. And then underneath the tank, jittering like crazy, was an enemy soldier underneath the tank that he'd run over. It was just, it didn't feel like the finished product, if you know what I mean. Which
that's war, Liam.
It's war, yes, because
that's beta as well, I think.
It's beta war.
Yeah.
It's beta war. So yeah, I think
nothing makes sense.
Yeah, I think with EA, you know, with their you know, with the 2 games that they brought out for this beta, you know, the Titanfall 2 and Battlefield, I think that I am the most interested in Titanfall 2. That felt more, even though it was just a tech test, that felt like more of a completed game, more of a kind of thought out progression. You know, what players you could hook into, things like that. I mean, the kind of gameplay I was getting in Battlefield was it felt almost early Call of Duty, like early, like PC Call of Duty stuff, where it's just like I'll just keep shooting until I get to the next bit. Yeah, it didn't feel yeah, like I said, it just didn't feel like the complete package. But
that's,
you know,
a shame.
I was happy to try it, and you know, I will try these things. Just so that you know as well, we are going to be starting our we've got a Twitch channel now. So we've got ManCave UK, and we will be trying to do something with that when any of us get a chance to hook up and play some PS4 and stuff, and we'll probably stream straight to it. And I think there's merit in trying to teach Mike some Star Wars Battlefront, if he's up for it. To go for it, because I know you were tempted to actually get that game, weren't you?
You have the time and the patience.
The time. I don't know. That Andy shaking his hand. He's like,
feeling like maybe not. No, we'll give it a go. That'd be a good one to start off with.
Many people tried, Liam. Very few succeeded.
All have failed. All have failed.
Right. Yeah. So, Mike, you got anything for us?
I do actually. I've just finished watching the Getdown on Netflix, and I'm pretty excited, guys.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the best TV show I've seen so far this year.
Okay.
I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. So that's interesting.
You know what, Andy? I'm going to go into detail on that because I too have read up some of the mixed reviews as well after I finished it, and it's one of those like any truly good TV show. I think there's an element of truth coming from all sides.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, a bit of background. It's one of Netflix's latest original TV shows that is streaming exclusively on Netflix, and it was created by Baz Luhrmann, who's the director behind Romeo plus Juliet, Moulin Rouge, and The Great Gatsby. And it's a sort of musical that is set in the Bronx during the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's yet, like Stranger Things, it's yet another nostalgia trip in a way. And it pays homage to the culture trends, the tropes and the icons of this era. So covers things such as their references to the Kung Fu wave at the time, because that's when Bruce Lee's films started becoming really popular and getting traction in the Western Hemisphere. It references blaxploitation pics. It also there's quite a few references to Star Wars, like some really nice heartwarming ones, because it's set in 1977, the year in which the very first Star Wars film came out, and it's chock full of references to the Bronze Age of comic books. So a lot of references to the Marvel and DC comics that were coming out at the time, It's also kind of a love letter to New York City at the time, and in particular to the Twin Towers. They feature in a lot of shots as well.
Oh, cool.
And basically, but what it is really about, it's a show about music, about the music of the time, and disco music features heavily in the show, but it is also mainly about the rise of hip hop. And it puts a very poetic spin on hip hop at the time, because it hadn't originated. It's in its very early stages, and a lot of the times, like when the main character Ezekiel, played by Justice Smith, when he's writing down his rhymes, he refers to them as poems, yeah, rather than hip hop lyrics or anything. And the fact that they keep referring to them as poems just goes to show how how in high regard they hold this style of music. And it's the show, as you can see from some of the images that we're sharing right now.
I'll just I'll flick over so that people can actually get a look as well. I mean, this is a strong image, this, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
this reminds me of Beat Street.
Do you know what? It's I'm not even the biggest fan of hip hop, and I really enjoyed it. I really dug it, in that sense.
I had no idea it was actually about this era, because during the 80s I kind of really wanted to I watched like Beat Street, and I was into breakdancing and all that kind of stuff. I had no idea that this was about that era, because those were brilliant. I mean, this was early 80s, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean the main show takes place in takes place in 1977, and also takes place in the Bronx, which at the time was New York at its grittiest and scariest and most dangerous too. And despite this, I mean, it doesn't go down the Spike Lee route, where it's not gritty realism. It splices colourful palettes, so it's very bright colours and all that, and it splices it with grainy stock footage.
Okay.
So, and also graffiti plays a really big role in the show as well. And the very nice stylish touch is that at the beginning of each episode, the title of each episode appears as a graffiti on the side of a subway train.
That's cool.
So going through.
Cool. I used to love that. Yeah, I used to like those films that showed those.
It's mostly made up of a cast of unknowns, but they are at the top of their game. I mean, each and every one of the young actors, especially Justice Smith, who's the main character, he is brilliant. The first episode, when his teacher asks him to recite a poem, which is clearly the very early stages of a song that he will write eventually. She says, I'd like you to read out your poem to the classroom, and he won't do it in front of the classroom. He'll only do it in private with her. And when he recites it, I mean, not only does the actor pull off sort of like the beats that go with reciting such and the rhythm that goes with reciting hip-hop lyrics, but also he puts in so much passion and emotion in it too, and I think that is one of the best scenes I've seen this year in a TV show. And fact is also, not since House of Cards has a film director been able to put such a personal stamp on a TV show. When you watch the very first episode of House of Cards, you're like, right, from the themes, from the way it's shot, from the color scheme and the palette, you can just see that you're right, we're in David Fincher territory. Whereas with the Getdown, you're like, this is blatantly a Baz Luhrmann pick.
Cool.
If there is one thing I can say about it, though, and this is where some of the negative comments come in, is that it is so epic in its scale. And this is one of the most expensive TV shows ever filmed. It was like, on average, it was $20 million per episode.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me, because the production value is quite high in Stranger Things, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's I think the main reason with that is that they filmed, from what I can tell, quite a bit of it on the actual streets in New York. And whenever you have to film, on the actual streets of a city rather than in a studio, costs go up, because I think a lot of people underestimate how much it costs for a film crew to get the sort of like the local council to stop the city for like an hour or two or something, so that they can film there. And especially when you're also putting together a few musical numbers, things like that, and it just goes up. And it is, in fact, I was saying it's so epic in its scale that at times you feel like it quivers under the pressure of its own ambition, in a way.
Yeah.
And it is certainly it is a very divisive show. The pilot is 90 minutes long, and I do not know why someone would do as a first episode something 90 minutes long.
It's long. No.
So it does.
They must be crazy. They must be. They must be out of their minds.
It tests patience, but if you stick around after the first 90 minutes, it only gets better after that. I promise.
And that is the strategy to all great TV shows and
and webcasts. Yeah.
Think of it as a modern West Side Story split over 6 episodes. That's the best way I can sum it up.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely.
I'm definitely buying the soundtrack.
That sound advice. You know, one thing about having the show as well is just like, oh God, I need to watch things.
Yeah.
I need to see this now. I need to make time for this. See, this is the effect that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to tell people to make time for this.
Yeah.
You know, go check it out and everything.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant. That's excellent. That sounds right up my street. And I just read, produced by Naz.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Because some of the characters that appear in the show are based on actual trailblazers of hip hop from the era, and they actually produced it. You know, well, they all chipped in to get it off the ground.
Wrote the lyrics for a lot of the rap that goes on in it. From what I heard in an interview.
Yeah.
Naz.
Oh, did he? So he penned a lot of it.
He's very involved. And Grandmaster Flash as well.
That's he actually appears as a character in the show.
Yeah.
And also, like, this is a really cool thing. It puts a very mystical spin on the art of DJing or MCing. You know, almost as if like the scenes where one of the characters is learning how to spin discs. The way Grandmaster Flash explains it to him, it's a bit something like out of Kung Fu or Kill Bill, or, you know, and it's quite cool. It's a bit cheesy, but if you lap up that sort of stuff, and you love it, and I really did love it. That's the one. You need to get used to it. Yeah.
I like it. That sounds pretty good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I have to check that one out. That sounds like a cool show. Netflix are knocking it out of the park at the moment, aren't they?
You know what? I mean, just a quick comment on this. This show is everything that Vinyl was not. And Vinyl was the other TV show that HBO released earlier this year. And it only reminds you further how Netflix is arguably winning the race against HBO right now in terms of original content coming out.
Cool.
Andy.
Right.
What's up, my friend?
So this week I've sort of been reading on and off when I've been able to fit it in the Judge Dredd reissue of The Cursed Earth, which is pretty much the first Judge Dredd epic storyline. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's just been re-released now in an uncensored format. And the reason for this has been that in the original run, basically they had some characters in it who resembled Ronald McDonald, the Burger King, the Jolly Green Giant. I think there might have been a few others as well, but those were the main ones. It's all in complete. No, I don't think KFC was around when this first came out. So it was back in 1980, early 1980s. But it's such a good example of world building. Mega City had sort of been established. I'll try and give you a quick rundown of Judge Dredd and like all the lore behind it. So, you know, apocalyptic wasteland, everything's just messed up, and the judges rule the mega cities. That's all from the film as well, obviously. The good one, not the crap one with Stallone. But this kind of sets up the world, and what you've got is between the different megacities, you've got the Cursed Earth, and Dredd needs to get from Megacity 1 to Megacity 2 in order to provide a cure to Megacity 2 because they've all gone mental. But that's just the plot, and it's the journey that counts, as with all good storylines. And you've got dinosaurs, you've got mutants, you've got an armadillo kind of character. You got robots.
I see Mr. Armadillo in,
Yeah.
in the shot there in the front.
You've just got it's just absolutely crazy, and the artwork is just you've got Brian Bolland. God, who else? Well, Pat Mills and John Wagner are the writers, as it is for most Judge Dredd storylines, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
That really is the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not. I mean, it's very close parody, and I think that this is. I was reading that they were able to get through with this now because of changes that they've made in the EU law or something like this. So they're able to get it through on parody grounds now. So you know, if you voted for Brexit, then this is one last good thing that the EU did for you.
Yeah.
Bring it on to a bit of politics there for you. But I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Fully recommend it to anyone, even if you haven't read Judge Dredd before. Just I'd say this is the essential one. It just totally establishes the setting.
With Judge Dredd, I think he's one of the trickiest characters out there. In comics, as far as protagonists go, because at the end of the day, he is a hardcore fascist.
Yeah.
How do you empathize with a character like that in a comic book?
You empathize because he is somebody who believes in total conviction down to his genetic DNA that he is right and that he is on the political side of being right. So your empathy for him is that if you hold any convictions within yourself, that he holds them as much as you do your own. That's your empathy with someone like that. And I suppose you can look at it in terms of the tragedy that's gone on around the world of Judge Dredd, and that they're all trying to do what they can to be able to cope with those circumstances. It gets very political, and at the end of the day, you cannot take Judge Dredd overly seriously. It's all based in parody. It's got a lot of slapstick in there, slapstick humor as well, because it's British and we can't take everything too seriously.
Because it has been around for a very long time, Judge Dredd, hasn't it? I mean, when was it kind of established? It was
1978, 79, something like that.
Yeah, because I think Judge Dredd has been. I mean, I've got a collection of my mum's old underground newspapers from the '60s, because she used to work for an underground newspaper, and Judge Dredd was parodied in those underground newspapers, and this was back in like '65, '66.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 65, 66. You're probably right. It probably is about 69, 70. We're probably not great at our fact checking, but I'm sure it went back as far as that. And it's he's a very interesting character. Sideways. I don't what films. I've seen the recent one. I don't think films have really done well for Judge Dredd.
Very difficult, tricky character to get right. And yeah, I don't think all adaptations have got it totally spot on, but the recent one was miles better than the Stallone thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was much better. Do you like the fact, I mean, as a comic book fan, do you kind of prefer the fact that he just sticks, they don't, they're not trying to do like the Marvel, million spin-offs and things like that, Judge Dredd is a comic book, and it's kind of like, that's where it's kind of new stuff and ingenuity lies, rather than actually take it to a lunchbox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they keep on trying to spin it off every now and again and get it big in America, and I don't think that's ever going to work for it. I think it is purely in the British, storyline. I mean, the other thing is that it's Judge Dredd is a year-by-year story, so from the beginning that it had back in the 70s or whenever it was to now, it is one complete storyline, and you're going through the life of Dredd. At some point in the future, he will. Yeah, exactly. He ages. I haven't read the most up-to-date one, so I can't tell you exactly what's happening there. But he, with the Origins storyline recently, he went into, his past because he's got to that point in his present. So he's growing nostalgic. He's beginning to learn more about his past because it's got to that point. And at some point in the future, you have to assume it will come to an end and he'll die. And they'll, bring Judge Dredd to an end. So this is the really big first storyline, and there's plenty of other ones that get better. Some of it dips in quality, but like everything does, really.
Oh, I never knew that. I never knew that it was kind of like that he's going to age and he's going to something's going to happen.
Well, you have to assume that that'll happen, but you never know with comics. Obviously, they might extend his lifetime indefinitely or something like that. I mean, he's a money roller for 2000 AD, so he's their main stock character, like the biggest recognizable one. So you have to think, well, will they ever actually get rid of him or not? But yeah.
Cool, excellent. So this Cursed Earth, Judge Dredd, sounds interesting. Definitely. So I definitely like the imagery that they've done. I mean, Jolly Green Giant. It's got to make you happy. Right, so I just wanted to talk about tomorrow. If any of you guys are on PS4, anybody that's on PS4 and has a PlayStation Plus account, go to the PlayStation Store and download your free copy of Journey and Lords of the Fallen. I think, yeah, Lords of the Fallen, which is the Viking third-person beat 'em up affair. It's I think it's kind of like a bit like Dark Souls in its look. You have to do lots of rolling and moving out of the way, and of course Journey, which is the real meat of this month's free offerings. It's been quite rough with PlayStation Plus. Have you guys picked up any PlayStation Plus? Have you been doing it every month?
I have not, no.
You haven't? Okay. Have you got a subscription to PlayStation Plus?
I know. I'm not sure actually. Because I've only just finished Arkham Knight. That's why. And like I said last time, I've only just got a PlayStation, so I'm still getting to grips with it.
I think you get a 3. You normally get a 3-month when you actually buy a PlayStation, and you just activate it whenever.
Eventually, you'll have to get it or don't. It's a subscription thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the price has just gone up as well. I can't. Don't quote me on the price, but I can't quote the price at the moment. But yeah, it has gone up. It has gone up a few quid.
I just renewed. I'm not sure how much I paid, but yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. The games. Meh.
I mean, they gave about 2 or 3 months ago. They gave like NBA 2K16, which I was really surprised at. It's like that's a full premium. That's the top basketball game.
Yeah.
And I just gave it. I remember buying that and then selling it because I just didn't have the time to play it because you really need to put so much into it to get characters out of it. Yeah. But yeah, Journey. I mean, I never actually. I played the demo of Journey, and everybody talks about it in a real whimsical way, like, oh, it's a real experience. I kind of hooked up, and then somebody came and joined me, and we skidded down this dune, and there was dust and wind and things like that. And it's just like people talk about it like it's some kind of like
acid trip.
Yeah, they say yeah, it does sound like an acid trip. I mean, the graphics look nice on it, very simple. And the movement, it was all very good. But now, I say now it's free. I mean, I should have really picked it up when it was but I'll be, very interested in trying that one.
Yeah.
Still, one of the best free games I've ever had on PlayStation Plus was Rocket League. If you guys have not tried Rocket League, you need to.
Okay.
It's really good. It's football with cars. Rocket League. Yeah.
The one that I'm gonna forget exactly what it's called, but it's very similar to Dead Space in terms of its setting. I think it's like Jumper or something like this, and it's a puzzle game where you've got like a torch that you get to create clones of yourself with.
I think it is called, it is Jumper or The Jumper.
Yeah, that was really fascinating. I really got addicted to that. That was a good one to just turn on quickly and then chuck off after about 5 or 10 minutes, and little puzzles. Very good fun.
Well, don't want to go into it. There's other ones as well, like kind of that I bought, was fascinated, absolutely brilliant, like from the makers of Myst, like The Witness, and then I haven't picked it up again. It's just time. This is our demographic. It's like, you know, we're 30. You know, I'm a 30-something. You guys almost there. And I know, and the time, you know, you have to really choose your times for actually putting it in. So in that game time.
Right, I think we're at 35 minutes for the stream at the moment. So
we're moving on. So I mean, I'm done with that. I'm done with my stuff. So who's next, Mike?
I've got some thoughts on a comic I've read this past week too.
Cool.
And I know I said I was trying to move away from Marvel and DC a bit, but there's one title, recent title from Marvel that everyone's been going on about, and I just had to check it out. And that is Miss Marvel, and it written by G. Willow Wilson, and I think that character, Miss Marvel, is easily the most exciting teenage hero since Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And she has got a very interesting background. She is a native from Jersey City, but she's half American, half Pakistani. And so she is effectively, if not the first Muslim character in a Marvel comic, definitely the first Muslim protagonist with her own title. And you know, it's an origin story. It's 16-year-old Kamala Khan who finds out she becomes an Inhuman. So it's sort of like a variation on the whole mutant spiel in the Marvel universe. And she acquires the power of shapeshifting. And shapeshifting, in a way, it's interesting how you hear that, you're like, oh, all right, okay. But then as you read the comic, you realize shapeshifting is such a spot-on power for a teenager who feels a bit displaced, not very confident in their own skin. And this is only this sense of awkwardness and this displacement is only further accentuated that it's a teenage girl whose cultural background makes it even harder for her to integrate and to feel like she fits in and is comfortable in her own skin when she's around all these white Anglo-Saxon Protestant classmates and things like that.
Yeah.
And it helps that she's written by an actual Muslim author.
Oh, really?
And her struggles, and also it's her struggles with her domestic life, you know, coming to terms with her family's, you know, her parents' traditions, things like that, is even more interesting than her coming to terms with her new powers in a way. And because it rings quite true. You know, it doesn't feel fake, doesn't feel phony, and you know, all of a sudden she gets these powers, and there's a brilliant moment where she has when she's literally just got her new abilities, and she has a vision of Carol Danvers, the former Miss Marvel, now Captain Marvel, who appears to her in a vision and says, "Get ready, kiddo, you're about to have the kind of reboot that most people can only dream of." And it really is true. It's a brilliant story, and it's very easy to think that the whole Muslim angle is the sole reason why this comic is being lauded, but it's not that. It adds to it. It is an impeccably written origin story in its own right. and it's yes, it's the type of origin story which is very similar to Peter Parker's one of Spider-Man, but Wilson puts a very fresh 21st century spin on it. So it's something you've already seen before, but it feels new. And Kamala Khan is just an adorable character. You really gravitate to her.
We've got some screenshots that we could actually show if you can pick that one up.
Yeah.
This is Marvel No Normal.
Yeah, that's the first volume, which that's the one I read, and I'm very looking forward to seeing her team up with other teenage characters like Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man, or the new Nova, who's 13 years old too. So it'll be interesting to see her interact with those type of characters.
So, potential spoiler, but does she get her powers from the Kree, like the original?
From, I believe, the Terrigen, which is it's sort of like this kind of mystical fumes that engulf the Earth every once in a while, and only people who are who have inhuman DNA or they get selected by this sort of mist, and they get imbued with powers. I'm sure right now I'm probably alienating and pissing off a lot of Inhumans fans out there, but. So it's one of the titles I'm not very familiar with from the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I've only read a few bits and pieces, but yeah.
But yeah, Black Marvel is very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like the imagery of it. I was at. It's good that you've actually said about this because I was wondering because I play Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a character that's come up quite often in it, and I'm like, oh, she's quite cool. She's got to have no idea. Now I know she knows.
Well, it's I mean, one of the things that's very likable about it too is I know it sounds very corny because it's at the end of the day it's kind of like just be yourself and everything will work out for the best. But it's like when she first gets because she can shapeshift and she can be whoever she wants. When she gets seen, her first instinct is to transform into Carol Danvers, the previous Miss Marvel, who happens to be blonde, tall, attractive, big bosom, and inappropriately dressed as well, as she points out.
Well, that sounds terrible. That would make a horrible graphic novel.
And she realizes very soon, she's like, I don't need to be like, I don't have to be like Carol Danvers. I don't need to be like Captain Marvel. I need to be the best version of myself. And and it's it may sound corny, but the way it's written, it actually you gravitate towards that.
Cool. Well, that's good. It's another one to check out, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about comic books after, I've not. I mean, I think I have time for the movies, but you guys are kind of like really opening my eyes to this. We'll talk about something later, which probably will open my eyes even more about future plans. So, Andy, well, I know we're running a little bit, but we're okay. We can.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Yeah. So, what's next on the agenda, my friend?
I wanted to talk about the latest comic book adaptation which I've seen, which is actually it's overtaken slightly by The Tick, which I'll talk about maybe some other time. Preacher, which is just come out on Amazon Prime, and a bit of a funny reaction to this one. I thought I was really going to like it. I love the cast. The acting is brilliant. The directing's actually really good. I like a lot about this TV series. Unfortunately, I found the whole thing really boring. And well, I am really annoyed that I have to say that because it's just this sort of thing that I really wanted to like. There was, the comic book series by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon has its flaws. It's politically all over the place, but it's such a good storyline. So much happens. It's so well paced. There's things happening all the time, and it's just a real joy to read. And for that to then get transferred to the TV series and just be really plodding, not enough happening. They don't ever leave the town. Sorry, that's a massive spoiler there, but I know, but to be honest, I'd have liked to have known that when I first started watching it. Because
this is what we're here for, man. We've got to let people know the truth.
Yeah, because when you're reading the comic book, the gang literally leaves the town after about 1, maybe 2 issues. They don't spend much time there. That's not the point of the beginning of the series, because you're supposed to be able to get to know the storyline of the bigger scheme of things about the main characters. And instead, you're left learning everything, like the tiniest details about this town, which for some people might be great, but for me, not what I'm looking for from Preacher. That's not what I'm looking for. Other bits were fine, but it's just like you're just waiting forever for something to happen. I don't know if you guys felt the same, if you've seen it too.
I haven't actually seen it, unfortunately.
I watched 2 episodes, so that already says a lot. The fact that I didn't even finish it through, but I felt like, and I'm not when I say I'm not a fan of the comic, it's not that I don't like it. I just never had the chance to read it all. I've only literally read bits here and there, and even I could tell it diverged quite a bit from the source material. It's not faithful to it in terms of which
is fine if it wants to be its own thing. But
no, I get that. But I feel like, all right, if you're going to move away from the source material, you better have something really good, instead to offer. And I felt like I just didn't get it. And I've got to be honest, I felt, is it Dominic Cooper? Is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was quite miscast as Cassidy. I mean, he's.
Here he is, Mr. Dominic Cooper.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
In the flesh.
So let's compare him.
Yeah.
To the original comic book cover.
That's an. You might want to go back one, because that's an adaptation from.
That
to me is not Dominic Cooper. I'm sorry.
You're very right. The adaptation. see, if I didn't know, I would be fooled by the adaptation. You see.
Yeah.
Who I did think was brilliant, and I thought, a TV show about him I would watch if it was just about him. Is, I hope I'm getting his name right. Is it Joseph Gilgan?
What, the Irish actor?
Yeah. As what's his name? The vampire.
Cassidy.
Right, Cassidy. Him. I thought he was brilliant. That opening scene of him on the plane.
Yes.
That was
fantastic.
That was a fantastic bit, and I felt like the rest of the 2 episodes I watched came nowhere near matching that kind of exhilaration and entertainment.
There's bits, there's scenes, there's elements of it where you think, this is really getting going. I'm loving this. Yes, more of this, more of things happening, learning more, and then it just slows down to a snail's pace. And it's just not good enough. Do better.
Not good enough.
Do better, and that's an Amazon original series, isn't it? Am I right?
Yeah, or it's been made in America and it's just being shown by Amazon or something like that. They have these weird deals.
I believe Amazon Prime's got a streaming deal.
Yeah.
As in, the episodes go up on Amazon as soon as they've been broadcast on whatever channel it's shown.
I think it's AMC.
Yeah, AMC, that's it.
AMC, the Walking Dead makers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, AMC. But, this is something that's becoming a trend now of the streaming networks. Amazon and Netflix are major producers now of content, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're only going to get stronger and better at it, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think maybe next week we should give some time to the Amazon Prime pilots season.
Yeah, we should actually.
I watched the Tick pilot.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think maybe next week we'll give that some time, and we'll
let's not talk about that now.
No, we're not going to talk about that now. We're going to give that some time next week. Or maybe we should talk about that next week. But really, okay. Well, we're on the times. I just want to wrap up quickly. Just going on about what we got planned coming up. We might be doing at the end of October. Well, we will be doing, because we're all pretty much booked. I still need to talk to you, Andy, about getting tickets and arrangements things. But I think we're going to go to Comic-Con. I think it would be a good thing. I'm sort of a comic noob, even though I know the whole lore from films and little bits I've picked up. But I think it's going to be a good experience. I've always wanted to go to a Comic-Con, so.
Yeah, and this is London Comic Con, not San Diego. But
not San Diego, no. Hey, listen, if there's anybody out there would like to sponsor ManCave for a trip to San Diego Comic Con, please,
seriously.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yes, yeah,
we'll film, we'll do whatever, Well, within reason.
Yeah.
Well,
what YouTube will let us do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So but we're going to hopefully do some content there. It's going to be a real challenge to see what content we get together and be filming and stuff. It's going to be fun. I think I'm looking forward to it. It should be really good. So that's I think that's it really. That's number 2 in the bag.
Yeah. Oh God, horrible.
Look at that. Number 2 in the bag. Swish.
Yes.
That's or in the can if you want to talk about film. Stuff. But more content coming.
Mine is just filth sometimes.
It is. It really is.
Well, anyway, guys. Well, thank you very much if you do tune in and clicking on this video. Remember, link in descriptions for Mike's 2 cents and isitgood.uk. And we'll be back next week. Hopefully same time, 8:30ish. We're kind of like we're all up in the air with the times at the moment, but when we get some loyal followers, I'm sure we'll keep a little bit more stable with it. Lots more to come. So thank you very much for joining us. I want to thank both of you guys. Pleasure as usual. For all of your great reviews, and God, I'm learning so much about comics at the moment.
Need to learn more so we don't run out of our knowledge as well.
Run out of knowledge. Hey, there's always.
I don't know about you. I'm done. I've got nothing else.
I got nothing, man. All right, guys, we're gonna sign off, and thank you very much. This is me, ManCave.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.